Welcome to the GCN show from sunny South Korea, from Seoul to Busan.
Welcome to the GCN show.
Coming up this week, is there such a thing as a pro kit wear, or should cyclists be able to wear whatever they darn well like?
We've also got the results of the virtual race across America. We check in with Hank as he takes on his latest ridiculously tough challenge. And we've got breaking news about a sweat-reducing backpack.
Yes, that's breaking news, not breaking a sweat.
Oh man. Start as you mean to go on, Si.
Oh yeah.
This week in the world of cycling, we learned that the big French motor doping investigation, which was led by the police, has now been closed after 2 years due to a lack of evidence.
Yes, and that sounds like excellent news to me, Dan. Now, we also learned this week that bikes are the new toilet paper. This is according to the website Cycling Industry News, and because of coronavirus-related demand and coronavirus-related shortages. Not, I don't think, because of anything else.
Well, bikes are not as expensive or common, obviously, but at the end of the day, they will both end up covered in
Thanks for that one, Dan. Just raising the tone slightly then, I kind of wanted to leave this picture here. Just a bit of Blight Fling for you. This is a new Battalion Power Plus Evo, which is the first steel bike ever to have fully integrated cables, a result of a collaboration with Columbus Steel. And frankly, Dan, I think it's absolutely stunning.
Well, that is a definite hot from me. That bike does look stunning, Si.
Yeah.
Finally this week, we learned that it is absolutely fine to wear full protein kit.
Well, yes. I mean, to be fair, I think we've always thought this, haven't we? But we've been spurred into action this week after a post on the GCN app from Richie Gray, who asked us to start a campaign. Now, we think he might have meant campaign, but still, a campaign to get and encourage other riders to wear pro team kit with pride, showing their allegiance to their favourite team or their favourite rider.
I'd be quite happy to start a champagne, if I'm perfectly honest. Si.
Yeah, me too, mate.
I mean, it is a bit weird, really, that you would need to have any kind of campaign to make it okay for riders to wear pro team kit that they support. And as Richie points out, this doesn't seem to be the same in many or any other sports where lots of people are very proud to wear the colours of their team.
No, that's right. But yet in cycling, there's, well, not an inconsiderable number of people that would look down on someone for going for a bike ride wearing pro team replica kit. And I don't really know why. And it's also a bit rubbish.
Although, yeah, it is really rubbish. And playing devil's advocate, I suppose you could say that cycling is a bit different to other sports in that sponsors come and go, so teams come and go very quickly, and even if the sponsors and the team management and the structure remains the same, if they change sponsors, then the colours change as well. And it does make it quite hard to have an allegiance to one particular team for a long period of time.
Well, yeah, I guess, and because of those sponsors, the team is normally named after them, isn't it? And do you really want to show allegiance to a giant petrochemicals company or a PVC windows company, even if it's a really cool team, or a payday loans company? That's not a great one either. And a winery as well.
To be fair, sir, I wouldn't actually mind representing a winery.
No, okay, fair enough. I actually did almost think that Alpecin would be good for you, but then I realised it's only shampoo and not hair dye, so not quite so relevant.
Yeah, my hair's looking rather black again today, I think.
Is it?
Camera settings.
Oh, yeah. Camera settings. Well, you better let me know what they are, mate, if it gets rid of greys.
I will do. I'll write to you afterwards. Anyway, back to the subject in hand. We think that those sponsors might be one of the reasons why people support an individual rider as opposed to a whole team. So Peter Sagan, for example, as opposed to his entire team, sponsored by a bathroom and a kitchen company.
However, what's weird is that in the past, it was perfectly acceptable to wear pro team kit, but yet at some point that changed.
And we think we know when. Earlier this morning, I gave Andy Story, owner and manager of Prenda Cyclismo, a call, a company that really helped me back in the day, in fact. But back in the day, they used to specialise and sell an enormous amount of replica pro team kit. But he said that somewhere between 2005, when they were selling a lot, and 2006, it dropped off a cliff because they could barely shift any. Now, these days, they do really well out of those vintage replica team kits like Peugeot and Molteni, but not out of the current ones.
No. What's interesting then is that 2005-2006, that coincided rather neatly with the emergence of companies like Rapha, who instead of going down the Replica Pro look, were championing a new, cool, simple aesthetic that kind of harked back instead to cycling's past.
Yeah, it's easy to forget, but it was only, 15, 20 years ago when it was actually quite hard to get a decent pair of bib shorts and jersey which matched, which fit you well, and which didn't carry a load of sponsor logos.
Now, a few years after the emergence of Rapha and the like, there was also the rise of the Velominati rules. So these were intended as tongue-in-cheek, but now they've kind of been taken as a sign of cycling's horrific snobbery, basically. Anyway, within those rules, number 17 states that team kit is for team members only, and that it's rather questionable to wear it unless you're paid to do so.
Well, a couple of years after that, things took another step for the worse, I think you might say, because a new term seemed to emerge online: full pro kit w***ers. If that term is not familiar to you, it basically translates to full pro kit jerks.
Thanks for clarifying, Dan. Now, fortunately, it seems like a lot of the social media accounts that were responsible for popularising that term seem to have, died a death, basically. But we also thought we should definitely add our voice here at GCN and say that we think you should be able to wear whatever you like when cycling. Just wear it and wear it with pride. And more importantly than that, don't condemn others for wearing what they want to wear as well.
Exactly. If you want to wear Rapha from head to toe through all seasons, then feel free to do so. If you love the Deconic Quickstep squad and want to support them, then feel free to buy their kit and wear it with pride. Or if you don't want to or don't have enough money to afford the best cycling kit, there are loads of great budget options out there. You can get it from Decathlon or Walmart or even some budget supermarkets, and that's absolutely fine.
Yeah, and if you don't want to wear Lycra at all, that's absolutely fine as well. Wear loose-fitting clothing, be comfortable, look cool, it's all good.
Exactly. Now, we are not going to start any kind of champagne or campaign to implore people to wear pro team kit. What we are saying is that you shouldn't be judging other people who do want to do that. I mean, there are enough people in this world who appear to dislike cyclists as it is, so we probably shouldn't be arguing amongst ourselves as well.
No. But if you do spot someone wearing Replica World Championship winning kit, then no. Just judge them silently. That's fine. We jest, very much so. Can I just actually chip in a piece of advice here, though, Dan? For people who are thinking about buying Pro Team Replica kit, just make sure you know what all the sponsors do. Okay, because a friend of mine who used to race for a pro Italian team in the early 2000s had loads and loads of sponsors all over his jersey, and many of whom he didn't know what they did. And actually one of them he only found out a decade later when he was taking a wee at an Italian service station, and he recognised the name scrawled on the urinals. It turned out he's been sponsored by a urinal company. And that's fine, because he was at least getting paid to advertise urinals. But imagine if you'd spent your own money to wear kit that advertised a urinal manufacturer. See, it's a problem.
You wonder whether they got much of a return on investment on that sponsorship, don't you?
Well, it's true, yeah. I'm
just suddenly thinking, Simon, maybe this is the reason why the Cervelo test team kit sold so well to the public, because it was entirely sponsored.
You're not.
No, honestly, it was entirely sponsored by companies within the sport, and pretty cool companies at that.
Yeah, well, to be honest with you, I'd always assumed that the success of the Cervelo test team kit was down to the fact that it was a nice looking kit, but more than that, it was worn by some of the coolest, most charismatic bike riders in the whole of professional cycling. Some, not all of the team, but most, I'd say.
Cheers, mate. I wasn't expecting that compliment at that point.
Yeah. No.
Anyway, we would like to get your thoughts on this very subject, of course. Have you ever worn full pro team kit out and about, or have you ever seen anybody else ridiculed for doing exactly that? Let us know down below.
And Dan, what about you, mate? Would you wear pro team kit?
It's a hard one to say, really, isn't it? Because of the situation that you and I are in, Si, where we're very fortunate to get stuff for free. I probably wouldn't. I mean, given the situation I'm in also, it means that I can't really be biased towards one team over another, so it might not look right if I was supporting EF or Ineos or whoever else. Right
then, on to James Loseley-Williams. Now, we told you last week that Hank was planning something pretty epic, raising money for World Bicycle Relief by trenching which is a bit like Everesting but harder and the opposite way around. So instead of climbing, you have to descend. You have to descend into the depths of the Mariana Trench, all 11,000 metres of it. But unfortunately for James, you also have to climb the 11,000 metres in order to be able to descend it. Anyway, the full video is coming out this weekend, but we're going to get an update from him as he's currently halfway through.
I'm here on Paulet Climb attempting the trenching, 11,000 metres descent. I've done 10,000 metres and I'm doing it on a 25% climb. Absolutely brutal. Think about it as doing 18 minutes of leg squats. That's basically what I'm doing. So if you want to donate and you want to get involved, then make sure you go to the description and give some money. I truly appreciate it. We're doing it for World Bicycle Relief, and it's an amazing cause, so worthy to get behind. Right, I need to shoot off because I've got a lot more climbing to do and descending. Oh, it's so steep. And I've got a headwind for the climb. Phew. Right, I'll see you in the next show. You.
Next up, as ever, it's your weekly GCN inspiration, where we choose our favourite 3 inspirational photos uploaded to the GCN app by you and give each of them a prize. Third prize this week is the Plant-Based Cyclist book, and that one is going to Brasilia. What's at the end of the road? An epic ride with my friend after a storm in southern Poland. Missed sunset and our bikes. Now, I'll be honest with you, Si, that photo didn't hit me immediately, but it got an enormous number of likes compared to some of the others. So I started to think maybe there's something I'm missing.
Well, yeah, I see what you mean. It doesn't look like the nicest weather, and I'm partial to a corner on my roads. But no, there's something about that, isn't there? I do get it. That is a very cool, inspirational photo. It makes me want to go ride my bike, Dan. There we go. It works.
Yeah. Mission accomplished.
Indeed it is. Right, second prize this week is a Koppenberg t-shirt, a GCN baseball cap, and it is awarded to Andy Innes from Scotland. This, I mean, what a day. I mean, that's absolutely staggering for a start. Look at the sky. Anyway, he said, one of my favourite climbs from Balmoral Castle in Gairnshiel Lodge in the Scottish Highland. It just looks absolutely staggering, doesn't it? An epic view of the snow-capped Loch Nagar in the distance. So
it does look amazing. I had no idea to start with that was Scotland. Before I read it, I was very surprised actually.
Yeah,
Not that I'm saying Scotland couldn't be that nice, but I mean, it's almost looks like the bike's getting beamed up to Scotty in Star Trek, doesn't it? Amazing light.
Hey, Dan, just whilst we're in Scotland for a moment, can we do a quick update on last week? We were saying, wouldn't it be great if there was a loch in Scotland called Lockdown? And actually, there is. Loads of people got involved. I saw that in the comments. Yeah. Loch Doon. So yeah, can we have an inspirational photo from Loch Doon? Loch Doon in Loch Doon. So
if only to give Si the chance to do his Scottish accent again. Now, one point about the one in second place. It might have had a chance of coming first, but it was done in portrait mode, which looks great obviously on your phone, but when you're watching a YouTube video or on Facebook, it doesn't look quite so good. No. But in first place this week and winning a GCN Sit Back and Relax bundle is Tom Fandango with this one. Setting Suffolk's sun at summer solstice. Well, that's tough to say, isn't it? On the road to the biggest hill in the region, Watson's Hill, you can almost feel the warmth bouncing off the tarmac in this photo. And well, that is a stunning, epic photo. And we're back with our sunrise stroke sunset shots.
Yeah, that is awesome. I managed to get my own sunset shot on the summer solstice, it has to be said. The one thing I'm slightly intrigued by Suffolk's biggest hill, because to my mind Suffolk doesn't have particularly big hills, so we might be talking about something that's 50 metres high, but correct me, because I'm sure I'm wrong. But no,
that hill is a big fish in a small pond, isn't it?
Well, yeah. Oh, amazing photo though, absolutely cracking. So thank you very much, Tom Fandango, for sending that one in.
And if you'd like to get involved ready for next week's show, you know the drill. All you've got to do is capture an amazing inspirational cycling photo and upload it to the GCN app.
It's now time for cycling shorts.
Cycling shorts now, and we're going to start with the amazing news of the sweat-reducing backpack.
Oh yes,
Yes.
with actual research behind it as well, which was presented at the 13th annual conference of the International Sport Engineering Association.
Yeah, we would have gone. Of course we would, but well,
Yeah.
coronavirus.
Travel restrictions
Yeah.
that prevented us from going.
Yeah.
Anyway, what they did was tested 2 different backpacks and then one set without any backpacks at all in a wind tunnel on 7 presumably very sweaty subjects. Actually, one of them wasn't you, was it, Si?
No, I'm beyond help, I think, Dan. I just would have failed all 3 tests.
Well, yeah, maybe their backpack would have failed in that instance if you were there as one of the subjects. Regardless, it didn't fail, and a company called Bodge is now making backpacks using CFD modelling, which help to direct the wind flow as you're riding between your back and the backpack, thus reducing sweaty back syndrome.
Yeah, it's quite cool, isn't it? Excellent news for non-lycra clad commuters. I just have a shower, but anyway, all good. Sticking with sweaty backs for a moment, actually, Dan. Last week we told you about the Virtual Race Across America, or VRAM. This week we can tell you about its winner. It's Hiro Suzuki, who maintained his position at the head of affairs for all 4,540 kilometres, and he did it in 12 days, which is averaging about 380 kilometres per day on an indoor trainer. Beggars belief.
Still fills me with fear and dread, that side. Still fills me with fear.
Yeah.
Anyway, there is another rider who actually is kind of riding across America. Well, he's actually riding and attempting to go through all 48 mainland states in a continuous run to try and beat the record for that by 35 days.
Yeah, so Keith Morikawa, 60 years old, is currently 13 days in and in North Dakota, having, and I think this is great, just ticked off South Dakota, Wyoming and Montana the day before.
Wow. As I mentioned, it does have to be a continuous run to be eligible for the record, which makes planning your route quite a tricky one. His route is 11,400 kilometres long and involves over 64,000 metres of climbing.
Oh, sounds pretty tough, doesn't it? Now he is, as you might imagine, putting in some epic days on the bike, in excess of 20 hours at a time. And well, I think last week he did 2,600 kilometres, which is not bad going.
Blimey. I guess he is allowed to be doing what he's doing given current coronavirus restrictions, but if you do happen to want to cheer him along on the route at some point near you, do make sure that you keep your distance.
Yeah, imagine getting coronavirus 45 states in.
Yeah, I know, that would be a disaster.
Yeah.
If you'd like to keep up to date with his progress, you can find him both on Strava and also on Facebook.
Yeah. Now, sticking with cheering people on, actually, for a moment, it's actually not far till this 2020 pro cycling season resumes, and almost incomprehensibly, plans are well underway to try and actually keep people safe while they're doing it.
They are. So Christian Prudhomme, who is the director of the Tour de France, said that there will be both male and female hostesses on the podium, but that there will be no kisses whatsoever. But there also will be roadside spectators, which is great news.
It is. Before that, though, the virtual Tour de France that is being run jointly by tour organisers ASO and also Zwift announced their 6-stage route, which includes 4 brand new stages that are currently being built, and 2 of which will be Mont Ventoux and the Champs-Élysées.
Yeah, this is great news not just for the pro riders taking part, but also for all Zwift users who can now take on 3 different virtual Étapes du Tour. And we all know just how heavenly French roads are and just how breathtaking the landscape is.
Yeah.
But being virtual, this has the added bonus that at the end of your ride, you can still get a really nice coffee.
Nice. Now, there is an awful lot to be excited about for racing fans as well, because the lineup for these races is absolutely epic. On the men's side of things, we've got Chris Froome, Geraint Thomas, Egan Bernal and Greg Van Avermaet, to name but 4. On the women's side, we've got Mariana Vos, Chloe Dygert, we've got Kirsten Wild, and we've got Anna van der Breggen. Isn't that amazing?
It's quite a stellar lineup, really, isn't it? And the good news is that we've got live coverage for you right here on GCN, both on the GCN app, but also on our Facebook and YouTube channels too. Although there are restrictions as to where we are allowed to broadcast the event too. So it's most of Europe and most of Asia.
Yeah. Now, Dan, we have managed some seamless segues all through Cycling Shorts. I'm going to do another one. Sticking with Chris Froome for a moment, as we were, word on the inside from his teammate Dylan van Baarle via the Dutch media is that Froome will be racing the Tour de France this year for Team Ineos, so ending the speculation that he was going to leave his contract early. But the transfer rumour mill is still grinding away, and all signs are pointing that Froome will go to Israel Startup Nation for 2021. And if he does so, that would put an end to a fairly successful 10-year relationship with Dave Brailsford.
And that really would be the end of quite a successful era between the two of them, wouldn't it? Be interesting to see what happens there. Now, before we finish Cycling Short Side, I just wanted to let you know that hanging behind me, I have got the brand new GCN training kit, which arrived very shortly after you got yours.
Yes, thank you, Dan. I did see that, and well, frankly, I can't hide my disappointment that you did not have to wait very long for your kit.
I thought that might be the case.
To me, yes.
That's exactly why I decided to point out that I have got it now. Anyway, I've had some really nice comments actually about the design of the new kit, so thank you to all of you for them. But if you do wish to purchase it, it is available and in stock now over on the GCN shop. You can find a link to that on your screen right now.
You know, the fact that we got so many positive comments about it is probably because it wasn't being modelled by you and Ollie.
Hack / Bodge of the week now.
That was a quick one, mate.
It was a quick one, yeah. You've been casting your votes over on the GCN app on the ones that we had up last week, and we're going to start with this one from Lloydie, not Dan. Great username that size, isn't it? Bike cleaning hack. Why spend 200 quid on a bike-specific pressure washer when you can repurpose an unused garden weed killer sprayer? Very good point that size, isn't it? But it has been done before.
It has been done before, and I'm always slightly reluctant because I don't think that would get off British cyclocross related mud. It's just not powerful enough, is it? But it's probably better for your bike as a result.
Yeah.
You know. Although we did investigate actually, and pressure washers aren't as bad as you think they are. It took a long time to get some water through a set of bearings, but anyway, there we go. We digress.
Probably environmentally better as well, given that you use less water, isn't it?
True.
2 washes from 1 tankful, apparently.
Ooh, I'd say that's probably a hack, personally.
Yep, that's a hack from me as well. And 86% of people agree with us, Si. Amazing. So we started off well here.
Nice. Right, next up we've got this one from Dave's One. This looks very much like a piece of sponge glued to a wall. And when I read about it, it is a piece of sponge glued to a wall. He said he got tired of a carbon pedal scratching on the wall, so cut a slot in a sponge and inserted the pedal. What I can't understand is how a sponge glued to your wall is worse than a scratch. But maybe the sponge isn't glued. Maybe it's like wedged on the pedal and then it just rests against it. Either way, I mean, it's a solution to a problem, isn't it?
Well, I'm going to say Bodge, Si, because Dave's One titled his hack with genius. So that immediately put, I think we should be the judge of whether it's genius or not. And a sponge, whatever way a sponge is used, it can't be genius in my opinion. So Bodge from me.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to say hack because it is solving his problem, but maybe you could get a more aesthetically pleasing sponge for next time.
Yeah, we'll just cut it down a bit. I did do something else with it apart from cut a slit in it. Anyway, the majority going with you, Si, 66% I think it was.
Yes.
Yeah, they're going with a hack. Next up, we've got a bike cleaning stand that came in from the O'Dorrellan. Since GCN always tells you to clean your bike, I thought making it as easy for me to do so by building this bike stand would make it a bit easier. So made it out of pallet and some other wood by the looks of things. Nice.
Well, fair enough. Personally, I like a solid bike stand when I'm washing. I don't like it to be too wishy-washy, floppy, and that back wheel's going to go everywhere, isn't it? But still, I like what you've done there.
Yeah, good use of wood, but I mean, it'd sort of be like it would be a could try harder, I think, on a school report, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think that's probably fair. Yes, it's rudimentary.
I'll go with hack because I sort of feel bad for saying that now.
Well, I'm going to go for Bodge then, because.
All right. Well, in that case, I'm in the majority this time. 75% of people went with hack for that one.
Damn it. All right. Well, next up, we've got another stand, actually. This is from Ollie Whip. A homemade wooden mechanic stand, he said. Made out of leftover wood, groove cut and padded with sponge with a small clamp on the top tube to secure the bike. Works surprisingly well and is stable, which is excellent news. That does look quite neat, doesn't it? I'm all for a homemade wooden repair stand.
That one does look like a bit more thought went into it to me. I'll go hack for that.
Yeah, I mean, Obviously, it's not height adjustable, and you can't like alter the angle of the bike, which is a nice thing on a proper work stand. But given it's made out of leftover wood and is therefore free, I'd say that's a hack.
Yeah, we're being quite critical this week, aren't we? Next up, Peter Wilborg, winter bike. This bike hangs in a bike shop in Orsa in Sweden. The owner's mother liked to knit.
Well, they're also very talented at knitting. Oh, that looks fantastic. That's a hack from me.
Does look really good, doesn't it? That's a hack from me as well, and it's a hack for 75% of other people too.
Nice. Now, this next one, I think I can imagine what you're going to say already, Dan. Sent in by JCTYM. It's a 3D printed pedal beer tap. Yeah, should we just move on? It's a hack?
Yeah, hack from me.
Interesting though, 27% of people said it was a bodge. Why have they done that?
Said that was a bodge. Wise up, people.
Yeah.
Somebody said if Daniel Lloyd had this, they would have to make a clipless model. Anyway, we shall finish with this, which came from B Posner 10, a baby gate bike rack. I took one of our old baby gates and made a bike rack. There's a bit of a theme going on this week. I used some scrap 2x6 and 2x3 to make it for my kids to park their bikes in the garage. Unfortunately, they still leave their bikes lying all over the garage, and I have to still park them for them. I know your pain there. I feel your pain. But it looks rather neat, doesn't it? I think we'll finish with a hack today from me.
Well, yeah, I think that's got to be a hack from me. I like a bit of upcycling, and well, it's quite satisfying to get rid of baby gates, isn't it? And particularly to replace them with that. Yeah, hack from me.
I've quite enjoyed. I mean, I always enjoy hacks and bodges, but particularly during lockdown because so many people seem to have more time on their hands to do some great hacks and genius sponge bodges. Anyway, keep them coming. There are more up on the GCN app for you to vote for, ready for next week's show.
Right, it's time now for Caption Competition, that part of the show where you can win a much coveted GCN Elite water bottle. Dan, have you got one there to show us?
I have. I have no idea whether it's in focus or not, but if I hold it next to my head, fingers crossed it will be. But,
what colour is it, that one?
It's red. It's a smaller one than I used the previous week. Yeah, but anyway,
nice.
There we go.
Right then, so should we start with
last
the results?
Week's photo. Yeah, was this one of Egan Bernal out training and being tested over in his home in Colombia. What a genius winner this week. It is Victor Damjanovic. Probably mispronounced that name, I'm sorry, but the caption's brilliant. Guard, hello Egan, huge fan. Bernal, looks like a small thermometer to me. I didn't do that justice, did I? It looks more like a small thermometer to me.
To be fair, mate, it was a good enough caption that even your bungled delivery didn't quite butcher it. So, yeah.
I'm so sorry, Victor. I deserved so much better.
It did indeed. Right then, this week's caption photo, we've gone right back into the mists of time, as you might be able to tell from from Dan Lloyd and Ted King at
2010, I think.
2010, crikey. So anyway, shall I have a go at this one?
Oh no, it's 2009. It's 2009. I've just seen the link. It says it in the title. Oh, go on then, Si. Give it a go.
Okay, mate. Amateur cyclist here pacing 2 full pro kit wanks.
Yeah. Well, you have to take your point. I mean,
all right.
It's pretty accurate. Actually,
how about this one then?
Funny.
Daniel Lloyd trying desperately not to get dropped from the Sunday club run.
Yeah, either of those are very witty, Si. Well done.
That's right. Shall I keep going?
You get the gist. You could no, stop it there, because we need to leave more material for other people to get involved.
I think there's plenty.
In taking the mick out of Dan. Yeah, there is plenty. Feel free to take the mick as much as you want in the comments below, but we'll be picking our favourite funny one this time next week. Get stuck in. We've had some brilliant comments this week, Si, haven't we? We've got quite a few to run through before we're going to get on to what's coming up on the channel over the next 7 days. We're going to start underneath Clipless Pedals Explained, which was me teaching my wife Lorraine how to use clipless pedals for the first time. Goodwin Cyclist pointed out that just as I was saying, there's no traffic in a park. About 5 seconds later, a big tractor drove by in the background.
Yeah. True that. For some reason, we haven't got any of the 450 comments from that video that were sort of pointing out how much you were punching above your weight.
Well, I don't need them
Lorraine
pointing out because Lorraine spent the entire evening that video came out pointing out to me how many people had said that I'm punching above my weight. Yeah, she was.
It's a compliment, mate. It's a compliment. Anyway. Underneath the video about cargo bikes, Sean Jennings pointed out that that Hank was riding around the roundabout the wrong way on his e-cargo bike. Inexplicably, not sure why he did that, but yeah, there we go. Possibly more noticeable to Brits watching that video, but there we go.
Meanwhile, underneath Meet the Presenters introducing Connor Dunn, we had this from VJXSHY. I think he lied about the ukulele. That's definitely a normal-sized guitar. And also, what an incredibly humble guy. I just love his quirky way and smile. He definitely is a keeper. Yeah, we're really pleased to have Connor on board and Manon too. They've taken to it like ducks to water, I think.
They have indeed. They have indeed. Speaking of Connor Dunn being a keeper, the summer solstice video was an absolute perler, I thought. But I didn't notice this. Fortunately, Sam Pritchard has brought it to our attention. At 14 minutes 47, it looks like Connor is wearing mini shorts and high socks. And once seen, that can never be unseen.
No.
It's absolutely horrific. Genius.
Especially dodgy late at night with a red light on the back of his...
Absolutely,
on the back of his bike. Anyway, on that same video, we had another comment from Wade Whitboy saying, "Trust Hank to plan a really scenic ride in the dark." I genuinely don't think he probably thought about that when he was planning his ride, that he wouldn't see any of the nice scenery that he planned. But yeah, very good point, Wade.
Indeed.
Right. Coming up on the channel this week, should I say, on Wednesday, we're going to explain everything that you need to know about power meters, which have changed a lot over the last decade or so since I first got one. Much more affordable too, which is great. On Thursday, the most confusing things about road biking, of which there are many. And on Friday, we're going to let you know how to buy a bike for under $1,000, euros or pounds, which are increasingly similar in value as years go by, aren't they?
On Saturday, well, it kind of feels thematically linked, but it's not. How to ride 100 miles. So Connor gives you some pro secrets there. And then on Sunday, fortunately, you don't have to wait long for it, but it is the outcome of Hank Goes Trenching. So I would imagine epic. I say imagine because I don't know that he's finished it yet. But anyway, can't wait to watch that one. So for the record, he did not choose an easy climb.
No.
Porlock. It's at 25%. Anyway.
Yeah, I think as of the second ascent, he was regretting his choice, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I mean,
well, at
least he can see the nice scenery as it's during daytime.
Yes, good point. Damp scenery, but nice.
Right then, that is all for this week's GCN show. We will, of course, be back at the same time next week. But if you've enjoyed this one, give it the thumbs up by pressing on the icon below.
Absolutely. We will see you here next week. Thanks for watching.